I'm a white boy, and I'm Jack. Deal with it. Who the fuck is that guy? Break out the red panty. Wanna throw hands and throw hands. I'll be in a land called No Man. And I don't care.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2. Oh, I played it again. Okay, now we're good. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of TakeDown Sports HQ. I'm here, as always, with my wonderful, wonderful host, Mr. Lewis Glover. How you doing tonight, Lou? What's going on, buddy?
I'm fantastic, Dougie. It's about 10 a.m. here in Brisbane. I just woke up, had maybe one too many beers last night, got a bit of a late one, slept through a few alarms, but I've had my coffee, I'm hydrated, and I am ready to talk some MMA with you, brother.
Well, tonight we got a full panel, buddy. You know, they say you need to walk before you can crawl, or crawl before you can walk, one of them. Well, we did that the first episode, and second episode, we just let everybody in. And first off, we've got a real good friend of mine, Mike Waller, the man that is responsible for my IDP obsession for over the last decade.
Sorry, everybody.
Some calling co-worker at 4for4. He's a contributor there at 4for4, and I just call him friend at Mike Waller. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Dougie? Yeah, sorry to put that hex on everybody with Dougie and the IDP, so I will take the full blame on that one. But yeah, things are good, rolling along.
The Superflex fans are jealous, by the way. Just letting you know. And our second guest is somebody that's also paved avenues for myself as I went through this journey of fantasy and podcast and shows. He's the guy, he supports pretty much anybody in the fantasy community that reaches out to him and wants to be involved with his, I'll let him say it. Mr. Mark, CEO of StatementGames.com, a new sponsor, TakeDown Sports HQ. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show.
What's going on? Well, I don't get the friend title as well. I mean, Mike gets it, but I just get, some guy who runs a thing called StatementGames.com.
Hey, to be honest with you, I wrote Mike's out, right? I wrote Mike's, and I was like, I've got Mark on.
See, he has to write my stuff up because I'm not in his brain. So, he has to write it out because he doesn't mean it. So.
Fair enough. No, it's a pleasure. I've always had a lot of fun in joining you and whatever shows that you guys are kind of doing here. So I appreciate the chance to come on board and have a little fun with you and get an opportunity to share a little bit of my story as well.
I got my hand in a little bit of all the cookie jars, as they say. But tonight's a big night for us because we get to unveil our first tournament, our first partnership with Statement Games. And it's the WWE Elimination Chamber. Not only did we fill one tournament, not two. We're working on that third. We're working on that third one. And we just want you to tell everybody a little bit about Statement Games. And I got a quick little video I'll play in the background here as you just bring them up to speed, buddy.
Yeah, sure. So Statement Games at StatementGames.com. You can also find this in the App Store, whether it's Google or iOS, Statement Games Fantasy Sports. Can't really stress this enough. Statement Games, we're just a game. We're a game. We've actually invented a little bit of a different twist on fantasy sports. What we kind of like to do as a company is we create games around individual sporting events. So we're going to be talking about tomorrow night's Elimination Chamber. What we do is we're going to present you with a list of anywhere between, I'd say, 50 to 60 different props, so hence the company name statements that are specific to that sporting event. We'll ask you questions like, all right, the SmackDown Elimination Chamber event will have over or under 1.5 eliminations. The total main event will go over 31 and a half minutes. Roy Orton, over or under 1.5 eliminations. You go through this list and you need to pick 10 of them. And as you make your 10 picks, you need to rank them in order of confidence from 10 through 1. So as the event plays out, if your number 10 pick becomes correct, you get 10 points. If 9 through 1 are incorrect, well, now you just have a total of 10 points. You're going to play in a league of anywhere between 8 to 12 people, and the person with the most points from correct picks at the end of that specific sporting event wins. This is a free-to-play game. The people who join the Statement Games community are competing for what we call Statement Games coins or platform credits. You will obtain credits by finishing in either first, second, or third in any contest or tournament that you play in. And ultimately, you want to build up a bank account of these coins, and eventually you want to exchange them for a cash gift card of your choice. So there's a whole reward system that powers the Statement Games platform. Probably, I think we're kind of approaching about 85 different retailers, Nike, Under Armour, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Amazon, Google. You simply take your coins and you exchange it for a cash gift card of your choice. So hopefully that gives you just a little bit of a better understanding of who we are and what we do.
That's awesome, Mark.
Can
I
y'all
love it, man.
explain?
It's such a cool concept. You guys have done some great stuff with it. And I'm excited to see all of the different props that are coming up across the range of sporting events as well. I got my eye on UFC 259 as well. I got my eye on that.
Couple of weeks. What is that? March 6th?
Yeah, March 6th. Over here in the future, it's March 7th, but yeah, March 6th.
Hey, Mark, when did you just spin this up? When did you spin this up?
I actually launched this in the tail end of 2000, and I'd say 17. I really didn't officially create a business around this until I'd say March of 2018.
Okay.
What's pretty cool and what I'm really excited about is I actually received a patent on the system, the process that we've created around Statement Games this past August. So when I first started out here, I've done some stuff with the 4for4 guys. Basically, giving people an opportunity to win some subscriptions in addition to coins, things like that. So, very familiar with your work. It's great to finally meet contributors such as yourself. So, if there's anything that I can do for, not only Doug and the TakeDown guys, if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know.
Did you? Is this your first WWE event?
We were doing a lot of WWE and wrestling stuff, especially.
Okay, so you didn't like the Rumble and all those things.
We definitely aimed for at the bare minimum the pay-per-view events. But
yeah, the Rumble is probably right in your wheelhouse. I was doing and stuff.
Yeah, I was doing. Hey, look, I was doing Monday Night Raw. I was doing SmackDown. I was doing the Wednesday night AEW stuff here. In addition to, for a while, that was the only thing that we can run.
Oh God,
it
yeah,
wasn't suspended. So I had to look. I'm a startup. Bandwidth is limited. So when everything came back all at once in August between hockey, football, basketball, I was like, all right, you know what, you got to pick and choose your battle. But from the main point, the Statement Games platform, we always run primetime events, nationally televised events. So now that you have hockey, it's basically anything that's nationally televised in the National Hockey League network or channel. The ABC, NBC games from a basketball and a hockey perspective. In addition to that, any type of pay-per-view, whether it's wrestling, UFC, anything. Crap! I remember last 4th of July, we did the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. So as long as we can.
You have to deal with the same legalities like Monkey Knife Fight and all those sites have to put up with.
Not really. I mean, the way I look at it is I can comply with the same rules and regulations as say on Candy Crush. I am a free-to-play game, so I'm not sure if you had a chance to check it out here. But when you log into Steam, I don't ask you for a credit card number or a social security number. I don't ask for your firstborn child. It's literally a free-to-play game. So
well, my firstborn's long gone anyway. I've given him away long time ago anyway.
And what I like, it's got two little icons. One's a Facebook and one's a Google. And I can just click on the Google, no matter if I'm on my phone, my laptop, whatever. And once I signed up the first time, I just click that Google button. Boom, Statement Games finds my Gmail, and I'm right in. So once you sign up the first time, you can click that Google and just keep. That's how you sign in.
Free-to-play game, but you can win some cash prizes and things like that. Anybody who's new who's checking it out here, just by checking out here, you get 60 free credits just for checking this thing out here. There's other little gamification items within the platform, and where you can always top up your account with some free coins.
Cool.
and on down the road, we'll get some stuff worked up. Maybe the tournament winner get some free swag from Takedown Sports.
I got an offer for you. We'll get into it. I got something special for you guys.
Oh, here we go.
All right, and let's get them. I want to get them statements brought back up because, as I was telling Lou before we came on the show, not only is he my IDP, kind of messiah and everything, but he's my wrestling go-to guy. When I want to talk wrestling, I slide into old Mike's DMs like a 16-year-old, asking him to go to the thing. We'll talk wrestling, you know what I mean? We'll talk some wrestling. And so no better person to come on for this unveiling of this episode than Mr. Mike Waller. So I want to bounce some of these statements off.
Yep.
And even I'll give mine out. Even though it's tomorrow, you can get on right now, sign up for free, copy my statements, word for word if you want, and let's tie if you want. It's free to play. Join up. The more the merrier. Okay? So I'm going to share the screen here of some of the picks. And like Mark was saying, the way that it's set up, I love how it's, how we all think Kevin Owens is going to win, but not who's the heel? Who's the heel on the SmackDown side? Sami Zayn. We don't think Sami Zayn.
Sheamus.
Right.
Sami Zayn and Sheamus.
So they pair Kevin Owens with Sami Zayn. So I love how they make you think a little bit, and I like that. So let's get this shared real fast. Bear with me. First, right off the bat, does the Fiend make an appearance?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it's flat out yes or no on here. I'm pretty sure something like that. So, what do you think, buddy? Does he make an appearance?
Boy, it's either going to be the Fiend or it's going to be Alexa Bliss somehow. That's gonna mess him up. But everything is kind of shaping up that it could be that Randy Orton could be that final guy, and Bray kind of does something to kind of mess things up and screw with him or something. It's not obvious, but it almost seems way too obvious that something is going to happen. That I think Wyatt kind of makes his triumphant return.
I've actually got a cool little spin that I think Bray might actually help him win the title, and that kind of leads into the WrestleMania match, Randy Orton against the Fiend. Just kind of crazy idea there. But here's some more.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a few because I'm thinking, wait, then okay, but because I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that it's going to be Edge and Roman.
Yes.
So I guess that makes sense. So I guess that does make sense that Fiend would do something to help him win. But I don't know. I don't see Edge, or I don't see Drew McIntyre dropping the belt. I don't know. I just don't see it right now. And they haven't really done a good job of promoting people or doing a type of a rivalry or something leading up to Drew. So maybe they do because they don't have somebody that can challenge Drew.
Here was my thought. Do you want to see a Drew McIntyre and Sheamus WrestleMania championship match? Who wants to see that? Who wants to see that? I want to see Randy Orton burning down the Fiend's homestead and light each other on fire, man. And that's the WrestleMania right there, buddy.
Yeah, because anything short of really, are we going to get another? Do we going to get another Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre to kind of make up for last year because there was no fans? Right.
And let's take a look at some of these. And I'm just going to hit you with some of them here, Mike. Jeff Hardy, you think he eliminates more than one person?
No, I think that's an under. I think he's probably one of the first two eliminated.
All right. Here's one that I took. Kofi. What about Kofi? Do you think he over under one elimination?
I don't think he gets an elimination either. I think he sticks around, but I don't think he eliminates anybody.
I took the over just because they put him on the card last minute, beating Miz to get into this chamber match. And I figured them doing that, they'd at least let him pin one person. So,
I think you know what? I think if you're going to say one, I guess the only person that makes sense is for Kofi to pin Hardy. That's really the only one that makes sense.
Okay, I got it there. Because I think Randy Orton's going to win the chamber match, I took the under on him eliminating because I don't see him pushing the superstar that's going to win the event with a bunch of eliminations. Does that make sense?
So you took the under on which? So you have him under
Randy Orton 1.5 eliminations, meaning 2 would get it for you, 1 wouldn't. 1.5. That's a good line. It's great. That's a great line, man.
Yeah, that one's tough because it's like, all right, I might just say, you know what, screw it, I'll take the over because I could see him eliminating Styles, and I could see him eliminating Sheamus.
I'm such a huge AJ fan.
A good job here. We're getting you guys thinking. So I guess we're doing all
right.
I love
it, I love it, buddy.
Getting those gears turning.
I'm sorry. Me and Michael go all geek squad on y'all.
Just keep in mind now. Where are you ranking these picks here? Are you just kind of like you're going 10 through 1?
We're going to.
Or are you kind of like shifting them around like a little bit here?
I've got them ranked, and see, let's fast forward through the video. Right back here. Okay, here is my ranks. All right, so my ranks is Drew McIntyre under 2.5 elimination. This is how it started out, but
so definitely
statement games, you rank your statements in confidence. I didn't want that. I ain't really too sure about how many eliminations he's going to get. So I moved that on down. But my number 1 does say that I think there is at least one championship changed hands tonight. Michael, what do you think about my most confident selection?
Yeah, that at least one changes hands.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think it's probably either going to be either the WWE Championship, or I think if we're counting all championships, I think it's going to be either the WWE or I think it's going to be the Women's Tag Team Championship.
Women's Tag, yes. Yep. I agree. And then we'll go right here. My next confidence ranking here. I like, as I said, I think Kofi at least pins one person, so I like the over in that. And then the United States Championship, the triple threat match with Bobby Lashley, Riddle, and Mr. Keith Lee. We're talking about a 2.5 hour pay-per-view program here. I picked over on it. I picked it over. I know he's kind of going. What do you think about that one?
What's the over? What is the over?
11 minutes 30 seconds.
You know what? I'm going under. I'm going under. I think I would go under on that. I think it's practically going to be a squash match because, first of all, I don't know what they're doing with Keith Lee anymore. He's been sent down to the Performance Center. Maybe there's some sort of a push. He's been sent down to do some sort of working out. I hate Riddle. I can't stand the shtick. I can't stand the shtick. It's just
not a fan.
If he went to some just like former MMA guy, because he's a good worker. I will give him all the credit in the world. He's a good worker, good in the ring. I hate the shtick. I turn him off immediately. So I think it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be one of those 7 to 9 minute matches.
It reminds me of what he's like an AEW character. That's the other wrestling organization there on TNT. He reminds me of a character that would be over there in AEW. He just don't seem like a WWE guy. But carry on, buddy.
No, that's pretty much it. I think it's going to be kind of one of those 9-10 minute matches, and I think Lashley probably ends up winning.
By the way, I love beast mode Bobby Lashley. Give me.
Oh God, I hope he needs a title run this year.
Yeah, and that's I don't think he loses the belt now, but I think it's soon. And I probably think pins Riddle while Keith Lee's outside the ring is probably what's going to happen. And then my number 7 here, my fourth most confident is The Fiend makes an appearance. I should have made that a little high. I should have made that high.
You got
then
some more to change
the one
it.
I want. Yeah, I know. You're right, Mark. You're right.
Yeah, you got about up till about 5 minutes before the pay-per-view starts to really finalize everything. So even if you save your stuff, just keep in mind you can go back in up to about 5 minutes before the event starts and modify and switch things up if you want.
And that's awesome too, because we know, Mike, Lacey Evans, ain't competing for the women's championship tonight because of being pregnant. So, if that would have happened, like tomorrow morning, then we could have went back in here statement games and moved our statements around. So I love being
match.
I didn't want to mess things up too much here. Actually, even though that Sasha Banks match was added to the card late. I got a big time crush on Sasha, so I would have liked to seen a couple of those picks put in there, but next time.
Now, has that match been removed?
Yes.
So it has been officially removed.
Now the match, I know Lacey Evans has, but the match still says to be decided next to Asuka.
Got it. Okay.
I know there's Becky Lynch rumblings. I know Lacey Evans' tag team partner has been rumbled to maybe, but Asuka is leaving Elimination Chamber the champ. So that's what I think. Regardless of who she fought, I think maybe Flair, maybe Charlotte, Flair, and they break up the little tag team they've been having for no damn reason. Why two best wrestlers need to be on the same tag team? I don't understand that, but anyway. Okay. And just last couple, I put Edge makes an appearance because I figure that's he's in the now. He's in the now, and I figured he'd at least show up.
I think he's going to do something because I think that's just going to cement. Yeah, I think tomorrow cements Edge and Roman Reigns in some way, shape, or form.
I say he does something to take out Uso. Does something to take out Uso, and that hurts the Click. And until WrestleMania, Christian comes back to tag with Edge, and they go against Roman and Uso on SmackDowns until WrestleMania. That's what I think.
So
go ahead.
No, so if we're talking about who's winning the SmackDown Elimination Chamber,
okay.
I
got KO.
You got KO. You know what?
KO.
I'm thinking a little. I'm thinking it could be. I think I'm going Jey Uso, and I think he lays down for his guy. I think he just lays down. Or something happens.
Are they bringing back the finger poke of doom?
They could. So,
and for those that don't know what I'm talking about, back in the day, there was Hulk Hogan had this big shtick going on over at the WCW, big title match. They walk out, and one finger puts him down on the mat. 1, 2, 3, new world champion. That's kind of what Mike's saying. Is leaning towards that way, right, Mike?
Yeah, and then I think maybe something happens after that with Jay and Edge and Roman after that all happens. But so I think that's what happens. Obviously, Roman's not losing the belt, and
No.
Not happening.
Nah. Build a SmackDown Edge versus Roman thing until WrestleMania. But that's that Raw. It's the Raw one. That's the one there. That's the tricky one to me. What's going to happen in the Raw Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, and you know what? What's so frustrating? It's just so frustrating because Raw actually had a good show on Monday, but they have this. Everybody's got the same writers, and I don't know what Raw does on a weekly basis. It's always so disjointed. But then the pay-per-views are always really good on the Raw side.
That's because
why can't they?
Daniel Bryan gets involved in pay-per-views
because and then the booking seems to get so right on the Raw side of things, and then the stories and then it just gets all mashed up on the weekly episode. So nothing makes sense in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know who who they consider a viable challenger for Drew. But yeah, I think that would be definitely interesting with Randy winning and the Fiend helping out. That would certainly be interesting. It would, because I thought, I mean, if you would have told me, I thought it was going to be Edge and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
To kind of further the thing from last year, but I don't know. With Raw, it's so up in the air. And then Big E was going to get a push, and he's now incapacitated somehow. There was he got. I don't know if it's something internal, because I think I don't know if it's a work or whatever, but
yeah, I don't get that. I think they want to push him to a bigger, maybe him versus Lashley down the road, something like that. I also think they might be trying to push Lashley more as this beast mode to build him up for the return of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar versus beast mode Bobby Lashley. Let's get it on at WrestleMania. You got Roman Reigns, you got the Edge, you got RKO, you got the Fiend. That's my WrestleMania.
Yeah, MVP and that whole Hurt Business has, I think, done really almost wonders for Lashley and bringing him kind of back up. I think that's really helped. And just like that, what Heyman has done for Roman Reigns is just, I mean, Roman is just on fire. I mean, just everything that he does, and now his attention to detail. I don't know what he said to Edge, but on SmackDown, when he just puts his hands up, puts his arm behind his back, and just.
And you know that all
everything
that all came from Heyman. You know, he's like, "Hey, what we're going to do? You need to do this." And man, he said, Jim Cornette. I mean, he reminds me of Jim Cornette from back in my day. Cornette was like that, man. He was just he could make Yokozuna and Owen Hart a damn tag team champion, you know, and it made sense. You know what? Like, anyway,
and he's getting like the legit overheat, instead of just being booed because maybe he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're pushing him down his face. He came back, and now it's like his whole mafia boss thing is just he's nailing everything that he does. And I can remember there was a promo with Cena and Roman. They were going to have a match. And Cena roast. I don't know if you saw this, Dougie, but look it up. It's a Cena Roman promo, and Cena just flat out roasted him. I hope they went over it, but Cena said, you know, Roman started to talk, and Cena just goes, "Hey, it's a promo, kid. You got to learn how to do them." and then he goes, "The reason why I'm here is because you can't do your job. I'm doing this better as a part-timer than you're doing it as." It was just this big full-on roast. And it's kind of like, okay, I think something finally kind of clicked with Roman, because he's finally just getting it, and everything that he's doing is just fantastic.
And kind of what Edge said to him at last night's SmackDown, you know, I think that even though if it's scripted, that might have struck a little nerve. Him telling, you you need me to be the superstar of WrestleMania. I think that might have struck a little nerve, you know.
There's always a little bit of truth in every single promo that's done. There's a little bit of realism in all those promos, and obviously, and they have to sign off and say, yeah, this is going to be oh my god, this is going to. And they willingly do it. They willingly get roasted because it's going to go over, and it's just going to, and it's going to go over.
Money into their pockets. Just stuffing all the money in their pockets.
Yep.
Doug, so you're feeling good about your picks? What do you think?
I like it, and I'm going to revisit them. I always revisit my statements right before kickoff, right before match starts. I always revisit it, but I do feel confident. There's a couple that I knew he'd maybe change my mind on a couple. So
all right, well, here you go. Here, I mean, as you kind of like went through the process, you do have till tomorrow to kind of to change and modify these things. I can't stress it enough here. It's just a game. It's free to play. But anybody who is listening to this show, and of course they're going to be following you guys as well, who's coming across statement games for the first time, maybe you're interested in kind of getting in here. I get the same kind of question all the time is, hey, you know what? Are there opportunities where I can play statement games for money? So I'll give you a chance to play for money right now. You go 10 for 10 with your picks. I'll personally come to the table and send you $250.
There we go.
Yes.
Anybody, but I'm not promoting this on the Statement Games channels. I'm not doing anything like that. This is for you guys. This is for your audience either. This is not Statement Games money. This is my own personal cash. This has actually backfired me on a couple of other podcasts before in the past. I've been doing good the past couple of months here, so I'm soaring my royal oats, so to speak. So there you go, $250. If you got to go 10 for 10 with your picks, though, so consider it like a free little lottery scratch-off ticket.
Absolutely, mate. Let's take some money off Mark. Hey, he's looking a little bit too comfortable for my liking. So let's make him sweat a little bit. Let's make him peel off some bills.
Hey guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I know you guys didn't really want to stick around for the UFC talk because just like me and Mike just nerded out, me and Lou are
we're gonna get our freak on.
So before we get into that UFC talk, though, we'll start with Mike. Mike, tell everybody where they can find them dope hoodies that you got on and where you work and you find material, brother.
I am at 4for4.com. And yes, we are ramping up, doing a little bit more. I think we're touching on a little bit more of the Dynasty stuff. So there is stuff now coming out for Dynasty people, and we're starting 2021. And I'm getting a little antsy watching some rookies, getting ready for the rookies, getting ready for free agency. Before you know it, free agency is beginning. I can't believe it. It's what, 13th of March, mid-March coming up?
Yeah, doesn't the legal tampering period start, I think, 7th or 8th of March?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the Browns grabbing up all of the top free agents and just dominating the 2021 season. So
there you go.
It's definitely going to be a fun one.
Right.
Yeah, but 4for4.com.
Nice, Mike. I got to throw this one to you, man. Since you mentioned you're a Browns fan, what's happening with Odell? Are the Browns keeping him? Are they moving him? What do you want as a fan? What do Browns fans think? Because I don't buy into this. Baker's better without Odell. I think you've got a great playmaker like that. You want him on the field, but that's just my take. What's yours?
So it's really strange because my eyes didn't deceive me that Baker did play better. It didn't deceive me. As soon as Odell got injured, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions post Odell. But I like to keep playmakers, so if they can find a way to keep him, I'm all for keeping him. The only thing is, I don't think it's really, unfortunately, I don't really think it's, I don't know, with all the player power, I don't know if it's really up to him. He's technically still under contract for a couple of years. So my only concern with the Browns is they've got $34 million, I think, tied up in 2 receivers between Jarvis and Odell. So that's the only thing. But if he sticks around, I'm good. Another year in this system for what the Browns did with no offseason, another coach and a GM, and for them to go 11-5. And, if they can keep that continuity and see what happens, I'm all for keeping them. So you got 2 great running backs. You've got, you keep Odell and potentially sign a couple of good defensive players, and we're ready to roll.
Nice. I like it. I think the Browns had a spectacular season. I can't wait to see the evolution with Kevin Stefanski there going into year 2. The way I see it, if Baker stays, and we'll move on from the football talk. Sorry, I just had to talk about it. But I think if Baker stays, if Odell stays, I think we're going to see, or what I would hope him to see, is to understand that he's not going to be getting all of the primary looks, but he's going to be like Stephon Diggs in 2019 in Minnesota, because he's a great deep ball receiver. Let's get the running game going. Everything set up underneath to Jarvis, to the tight ends, to Rashad Higgins, who I really like, by the way. Go get him in Dynasty. Go get Rashad Higgins just in case in Dynasty.
I hope he comes back too.
Right, I hope so. But I want to see Odell just used as this deep threat guy. He's elite tracking the ball deep, making those contested catches. That's what I want to see him used. Maybe a bit iffy for fantasy purposes, but for real football, you got Odell taking the top off. I think it's going to be good news for Baker and good news for the Browns.
Yeah, this season, I mean, if you were to tell me that in a pandemic year there was going to be no offseason, there was going to be no training camp, there was going to be no preseason, and you say, Mike, Browns are going to go 11-5, and you're going to beat the Steelers in the wild card in Pittsburgh. First of all, I would have had you locked up. I would have had you hog-tied and locked up. I'd have been like, hey, Dougie, I need you to come from Oklahoma and do some of your bull roping or whatever it is that you guys do down there and wrangle up these people because these people are crazy. So beating the Steelers was essentially a Super Bowl for me. Being able to beat them in the playoffs. You know, we were 14 yards away from a conference championship, but they'll fix the defense like they fixed the offensive line. So I'm definitely hopeful. Definitely hopeful first time in a long time.
Yep. Nice.
Well, thanks, buddy. I know I can count on you coming to chat it up some wrestling, man. I appreciate you, man. And to the last guest, the CEO of Statement Games, my friend.
There you go.
Tell everybody where to find you, buddy. I got your Twitter handle right here, scrolling across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, sure. So I can see that you actually were playing the game on the mobile website, but just keep in mind that there are also actual mobile apps that complement the website as well, Android as well as iOS. Of course, from a traditional web perspective, it's www.statementgames.com. You can simply find Statement Games on pretty much every single major social media platform with the handle being at Statement Games. Statement Games is all one word. And then me personally, I'm simply Mark, M-A-R-C, Solino. And you can find me at pretty much Facebook and Twitter from a personal perspective. But
a little different than the first time you was on with me, huh, Mark? I kind of know what I'm doing around here. I think the first time I had you on the show, I had my iPhone leaned up against a beer, popping on it.
Yep. No, but I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
So
thanks for having me. Have fun talking UFC and have fun watching the Chamber tomorrow night.
Thanks, Mike.
Guys. Have a good one.
Take care, man.
Mike. Take care, Lewis. Take care, Doug.
Thanks, Mark.
Later. Bye.
All right, Dougie, it's just you and me, brother, now.
All right, I'll see you later, Lou. I gotta go, buddy.
All righty, man. Let's talk some UFC.
We're live.
We are live. Let's talk some UFC, man.
Let's go, Bubba. Let's go. Let me get the shit.
So, since the last time we spoke, we recorded the first episode of TakeDown Sports HQ. A lot has been going on, right? We had the UFC Fight Night, we had UFC 258, and a whole bunch of news is going on. So before we dive into UFC 258, let's look at some news.
Hey, on episode 1, you nailed those, man. Your predictions on the card. Oliveira turns down the Chandler fight. Dude, the way you had it lined up in episode 1, it laid all out there. And then the fighters were like, nope, not fighting him. Not fighting him. So,
listen, I think I'm going to have to slide into old Chucky Oliveira's DMs. I got to DM with Oliveira and say, hey, man, come on. You make me look good. Take this Chandler fight and let's get the lightweight division rolling.
Man, that'd have been a good fight, too. But he says he's not about it. He said, ain't no way he's being a stepping stone. And they wanted to do it soon. To do it on the 259 card. They wanted to add it to the 259 card. Yeah, they wanted to do it soon because Chandler didn't take no damage. And Oliveira's been kind of in the wings waiting and staying fresh.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure if it wasn't 259, it was 260. They wanted to put it soon.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, meh.
Crazy. All right, man. So let's talking about people, I guess, turning down fights or turning down opportunities. Let's get into the news right now. And a big piece of news coming out is that Paulo Costa turned down to be the main event on UFC on ABC. So we know he's fighting Rob Whittaker. They're fighting in a few weeks' time. And they asked him, the UFC went to him and said, Paulo, will you come and fight for us on the 7th of April instead of the 14th? You're going to be on national television, right? National television. ABC.
There's a pretty boy. Oh man,
he's got that model physique. Could have been on national television. He said, "No, I'm Paolo. What are you doing, man? You got to think business. I know maybe you've got your camp all planned out, and I know you got humiliated by our guy Israel in the last time out. He got humiliated. But you can imagine what that does for his career, right? He bounces back after that. He comes out there and he takes out Rob Whittaker on national television." Paolo, come on, man. You got to think. You got to think about the business side of things. The fight game is, just as important what goes on outside of the octagon as what goes on inside. It could have been a tremendous opportunity for him.
And that matchup, it wouldn't have been like Khabib versus Conor. I mean, we're not talking about like world renowned grappler versus striker here, straight striker. I mean, Whitaker, Costa, that's two guys that kind of have the same skill set. Great over the hand rights, nasty straight jab, good strong kicks, great takedown defense. That's a good matchup.
It's a great matchup. I mean, they're still going to have to fight. They're still fighting, but I just think he made a bad business decision by not bringing it forward onto national television. So what else we got here? Man, this fight is cursed. Sometimes you get a matchup and it's just cursed and things aren't going to happen. I mean, Tony Ferguson, Khabib, most cursed fight of all time. 5 times, 5 failures. We now got our guy, my guy, fighting out the UK, Leon Edwards, man. He was supposed to fight this upcoming...
That took years off of Tony.
Took years off of Tony. It took years off of Tony. You're right. But we got my guy, Leon Edwards. He's supposed to be fighting... Chimaev.
Yeah.
Chimaev. And that fight has been scrapped because first of all, Leon had COVID. Now Hamzat has COVID. So Leon Edwards is going to fight Belal Muhammad on March 13th. So I mean, this is all downside for me for Rocky here, right? Because where is he sat? Where is Leon Edwards sat here? Number 3. He's sat at 3 right now.
Just coming off that win.
He's got some momentum.
Just coming off that win with my guy. Diego Lima is no joke. Lima is no joke, And they went the distance in that fight. And he got the decision. It kind of shocked me, but I think it was almost like, this is what we got, Leon. You want this? We need to keep this fight on schedule. Hey, we need to go with it, And this is what Belal was like. I got you, and here it is.
I mean, he's got to win this fight, right? I know. Muhammad's ranked 13th. Hamzat is ranked 14th, but it just feels different, right? Hamzat has all this momentum behind him, right? And it felt like his status, his position in the division, much higher than what his actual ranking is. It feels like with Muhammad, there's a lot more downside for Leon Edwards for this fight. So this is a banana skin that he's got to take care of. Got a TCOB, take care of business, and keep his name up there in this welterweight division picture, which, we're going to talk about 258, but Gilbert Burns has just been removed from the top of that division. There is an opportunity here for Leon Edwards if he can get past Belal Muhammad in this next fight. A little bit of news. You know what? I just wanted to pay our respects to one of the guys that I loved in the heavyweight division, Stefan Struve, the skyscraper, has retired due to his heart condition. He retired once. He came back. It was awesome to see, but he couldn't overcome it a second time. So I just wanted to make a quick mention to Stefan Struve. I really liked him. It was always wild seeing someone literally 7 foot tall fighting in the octagon. Bit of a freak show. He was always standing with his nipples above the cage line. It was crazy. But so I just wanted to give a shout out to Struve. And this is something that we talked about, Dougie. And moving away from the UFC for a second to the second ranked MMA organization in the world, Bellator. They've signed a deal with Showtime. They're going to be on weekly television on Showtime. They now have official rankings. They now have official pound-for-pound rankings. And they've announced a light heavyweight tournament. And they've got Anthony Rumble Johnson signed to the roster. and they've got Yoel Romero, who are going to fight as well. So Bellator, things are coming up for Bellator at the moment. It looks real good right now for them. It's great for them to get on Showtime, get more eyes on another organization. It's great for MMA when you've got two divisions or two organizations doing well. So it's just going to bring more money into the sport, more competition. That's what we want to see, growth in the MMA world. And I believe this deal that Bellator has done is going to facilitate that. And, a rising tide raises all ships.
It's 2021, Lou, and what you got to have these days is a good streaming app, and that's what Showtime has. It's right here in your hand. You can bring up the Showtime app. Boom, you got Bellator right there in your hands, and that's what Bellator's been lacking. You can go on YouTube and find fights here and there, and they post full fights, 2 months after they happen and stuff. But now we finally have a place that we can pull out our phone, click on the Showtime app, click on the Bellator section, and bam, we're watching Bellator. So, like you said, it's big, and getting Yoel Romero on Bellator, there is no telling what this guy's going to say, man. There is no telling what this guy's going to say on Bellator. He was like behind, because you remember what he said on the post-fight interview about Jesus and Don and all, and I won't go into everything he said, but you get this guy on Bellator and Showtime, man. If he wins that first fight, get ready for the most epic Yoel Romero of all time, because he's going to say some wacky ass stuff, man. It's going to be crazy. I can't wait.
No doubt. And what they bring as well, right, is I don't think we get Showtime like in Australia, but what combat sports fans know, and we see through the pay-per-views, is the excellence that Showtime brings to boxing, and they're going to bring that legitimacy to MMA as well. So very exciting to have that, progression of MMA, keep climbing the ladder in the combat sports world. So there were the bits of news that I wanted to hit on, brother. And before we dive into 258, because the last time we recorded was on a UFC fight night, much like today, we got a UFC fight night, Blaydes against Derek Lewis. But the last fight night, man, we both picked Overeem. We put the kiss of death. I tell you what, though, we picked Overeem, but that was the best Volkov I have ever seen. He looked spectacular, right? His striking just went up to another level. Overeem, it was bigger.
He pieced him up. The combinations that Volkov used. Volkov was a fighter that would come in, jab one, come out. He come in, hit with a leg kick, and he's back out. Against Overeem, he pieced him up. It was the straight jab left kick, and then it was the high kick to the body. He pieced up Overeem, man, like I ain't seen a heavyweight get pieced up in a minute, much less Overeem. I mean, we're talking one of the greatest heavyweight strikers of all time. Volkov made the dude look like he was 85 years old. Let's not get twisted. He whooped the piss out of Overeem.
He certainly did. And he just looked so much big. He looked like Overeem. It looked like almost they were fighting in a different weight class. Like Overeem just couldn't get close to him. And when he was landing, there was no bad intentions behind his shots. It just looked like Volkov was calm, and he just knew. And you could see like 2 minutes into the fight, you're like, oh, no, Volkov is going to win this, right? You just knew. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when he was going to put away Overeem. But I tell you what, we didn't have a time to really think about what was going on. Was, my goodness, Frankie Edgar getting a knee from outer space. A knee from outer space that put him to sleep.
God dang, man. I was watching it, walked in there to get some Kool-Aid, and as I come back in, I hear Joe Rogan going, oh my God. I hear the commentators going, oh my God. So I come in here, I run back, and as I try to rewind it, it starts buffering, and then I lose signal, and I'm flipping out, and I can't see what happened. I don't have no clue what happens, and I find it on YouTube, and I click on it, and that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Oh man, Frankie.
I mean, Frankie, man, you got nothing else to prove. I mean, taking head injuries like this, let's hang it up, brother. He's made a lot of money. He's he's an articulate guy. He can get on television. He can maybe work for the UFC. I don't know what they're doing with their fights these days, but I think it's time for Frankie Edgar to hang it up, because he can't hang at the top of the division anymore, and he's just going to end up being like a gatekeeper, and he's going to win one, drop a couple, win one. He just doesn't need that damage in his life anymore. He's got a family, young family. Take your health and get out of here, Frankie. You've made plenty of money. You've been a great champion. You've been a great, spokesperson, poster boy for the UFC. He was one of the first guys in a long time to obviously not cut the weight at 155, and showed the benefits of doing that and fighting at your true weight. And then he came down to 145 and fought the best of the best at 145. But I think it's time for Frankie Edgar to hang it up these days.
And that's a good point about him making that cut. And that's what woke Dana White up to the weight cuts and how big of a issue it could be. And that's why I think Frankie Edgar would be a good fit in that performance center in Vegas.
I like it.
These kids that Dana's going out to the Contender Series and getting these kids that just are about 20 years old, need a few more fights before they are UFC ready. I think Frankie Edgar would be a perfect guy to send them down there to in that performance center and let him just have at them for 8, 12 hours a day, and just let them eat it up.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, let's look at his last few fights, right? Lost to Jose Aldo, then he beats Jeremy Stevens and Yair Rodriguez, then he loses to Brian Ortega, no shame in that. Then he comes back over Cub Swanson, then he loses to Holloway, Korean Zombie, gets a win over Pedro, and then he loses to Corey Sandhagen as well. So I he can still fight. I just don't think he needs to, right? At 24-9-1, he's probably got a few more fights in him. You don't want to get that double-digit loss on your record. I think it's time for Frankie Edgar to hang it up. But, we'll see. Fighters always find it hard to walk away. They always find it hard to walk away. But that was it was a good fight night. I thought overall. I thought it was we're talking 3 fights here. I think I really enjoyed that card. Well, let's talk about now UFC 258, the last pay-per-view. Let's talk about it, man, because, I didn't watch this live. I didn't buy this pay-per-view.
I didn't either. I didn't buy it because there was one card. There was one fight on there. I was interested in one fight. I'm not going to lie. I'm an MMA savant. I love MMA, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was interested in one fight on this card, and that don't get me buying pay-per-views. I ain't going to lie to you.
It wasn't a great card put together. I believe, we did have Chris Weidman against Uriah Hall postponed off of this card. Now that's an interesting fight that I like. I think Uriah wins this fight. So I like that fight. So that could have made it a bit more interesting. That's been postponed to UFC 61. So that sort of changes the middleweight picture a little bit once we have that fight. But I gotta say, first of all, let's just, we don't have to rehab the whole card. But let's start up the Ricky Simone against Brian Kelleher fight, right? I thought Ricky Simone looked good, man. He looks really, really good.
Real good. Up and comer in that division, and I think he's making a way for himself. I agree.
Yeah, and Brian Kelleher's no joke, but he took care of him pretty comfortably. So that was nice to see. But what really impressed me, and I guess we can talk about the middleweight picture here now, is Kelvin Gastelum against Ian Heinisch. Now, Kelvin looked good. Kelvin looked really, really good. I think he's a great middleweight. Stamina as well. I think he's a great middleweight. He likes to eat. Now, we know. I'm getting my little fat jokes off here, but we know Kelvin, he likes to eat. He likes to carry a little bit of extra weight around. We all do. We're not all professional fighters.
He owns like 6 steakhouses, right? He owns like 6 steakhouses. So
I think he must eat at them every single day because he's always struggling. Well, if you own the steakhouses, you're going to go eat the product, right? But he's now moved up. He's now moved up to 8th in the middleweight rankings. He had that fight. He's had some really, really good fights. Let's pull up his record here because he was talked about as going to be one of the guys who was going to challenge for the belt. And he's had some competitive fights with the best of the best. Had a good fight with Israel Adesanya. But let's have a look. He fought for that interim belt against Israel.
Squirrel's an addict, man. Squirrel's an addict. It just turned off. Sorry, buddy. I'm back.
You're good, brother. You're good, but he's got some good wins. Obviously, I mean, he beat Vitor. He got overturned, whatever, to a no contest because of that positive marijuana test. Who cares? And then he's got some great wins. Bisping, Jacare. He loses to Israel. Fine. He has the split decision against Darren Till gets submitted by Jack Hermanson, and then comes back. He's now 16-6, 8th in the division here. He looked really, really good. I was so impressed with how he looked. Physically, he looked good. His striking was well put together. We know his wrestling is going to be on point, and he just looked fantastic against Ian Heinisch, who's clearly just not ready to take that next step up to the next echelon of the division. But right now, we got Israel, who's going up at 259 to fight Jan Blachowicz, and then we've got Paulo Costa and Robert Whittaker fighting here at 1 and 2, and then really the division is kind of, I guess, up for grabs. We've got Vettori, Marvin Vettori, who's in the mix, who of course, had a great fight against Adesanya back in the day. I like Marvin Vettori. I think he's fantastic. And we've got who is he fighting next? He's fighting. Who's Marvin Vettori fighting next?
I was looking it up, buddy, and then I lost. I lost connection, and I lost my page, and everything.
Everyone lost because I know he does have a fight scheduled, right? He's that's right. He's facing Till. That's right. He's fighting Darren Till next at 4 and 5. So we've got a little bit of a middleweight tournament playing out here. We got 1 versus 2, 4 versus 5, and then you've got Uriah Hall knocking on the door, as well as Kelvin Gastelum. Jared Cannonier is in the picture there at 3, and Jack Hermanson, who holds a win over Kelvin Gastelum. So a lot of stuff going on in the middleweight division while the belt is being put up for grabs, or being put on ice, while Adesanya tries to go and grab that light heavyweight title at UFC 259. But I thought Kelvin Gastelum looked good. But really, the co-main event sums up the strength of this card, or relative lack thereof, when, Alexa Grasso against Macy Barber is the co-main event in a pay-per-view. Now, I know what the UFC is trying to do, right? Young Macy Barber, she's attractive, she's young, so they're trying to push her. They're trying to build her star up like a Paige Van Zandt. I get it, but I'm not interested in this fight as a co-main event.
Nah. Agreed.
But congratulations to Grasso. She looked good. I think the UFC would want Barber to win that fight. She's got to go away and work on a game. She's young. She's only 22 years old. But yeah, there's not much else to say about this card other than let's move on to the main event. Kamaru Usman retains his welterweight strap over Gilbert Burns. What did you think of this fight, Dewey? I'm going to kick it to you. What did you think of this fight?
He rocked him. Usman said to the build up to this, I'm not overlooking the guy. I know he's very talented. I know he belongs in this cage. So I know he wasn't overlooking the guy. And Burns comes out and rocks him. Has Usman on noodle legs, man. It has him backing up. And Burns pushes. And does it methodically too. Don't just go throwing haymakers. He's trying to piece him up. He jabs him a couple times, and then he goes to the body, and he's trying to piece him up to get the TKO. And once that didn't happen, they crushed the young man's soul. They crushed his soul right then. Because as soon as they sat down on them chairs, he might not have said it out loud, but he was thinking, "Damn, that was all I had.
That was my chance." Yeah.
That was what I had. I'm not going to be any stronger than I was in them minute and a half to 2 minutes of the flurry that I just had. And I couldn't put him away. That's what I had. Can I get lucky and land another shot and knock him out? Yeah. But in my opinion, you just seen the sails just literally deflate out of Burns. Usman's jab started getting through. He started hitting the body. The leg kick started finding its way to that thigh. And once you take away Burns' lead leg, he didn't have no power left at all. You take away his confidence, you take away his lead leg, it's curtains. And that's what happened.
That's what happened. And Usman established that jab real well. And he's king of the division. Yet again, retains the strap. Obviously, he's not in the conversation for me anywhere near GSP level yet at that title. But my goodness, he's cleaned out the division so far. So let's talk about this welterweight pitcher, my man. Like, what fights do you want to see next? Because as we talked about, we got Rocky Edwards against Muhammad. Put the winner of that fight is going to be put into title contention.
Right.
Do we have
and
Masvidal?
And I like Edwards, but Usman's going to eat him alive. Yeah, I mean, right, Lou. I mean,
I think so, man. He's good, but
I like it. I do like Edwards, but he reminds me of that. I've been trying to think of his name. He was an old cat that hung around the sport, around this division, around this weight division for a while, and I can't think of his name. It'll come to me, but like he's not the gatekeeper, but like he's the gatekeeper's gatekeeper. Like,
right.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you beat the gatekeeper, but then you got this next boss to fight. Like,
right. He's the boss before the final boss in that video game, right? He's like
Right. So, not big fan. And I posted our show on Twitter and I posted about the fight on Usman, and I said I'll never underestimate Usman's power again. In which I knew he had it with the ground and pound. I knew he had it with the takedowns, and his wrestling was just off the chart. Bro, do you realize he knocked out Burns with a jab that his elbow was not fully extended? So he didn't even get the leverage of the full power of a jab. So his elbow is like this when your hands are up, and his jab came through at about right here. The elbow wasn't even fully out.
You didn't get that full extension.
Number 3, number 2, number 1 ranked fighter in the division. And then people are coming at me. Colby's the only person that belongs in the ring with him. Well, you can say that because that's all we've seen somebody kind of give him a run for his money.
Did you just say Cole Beasley?
No, Colby.
Colby. I was like, that's another white guy, my man. Wrong sport.
Shout out Cole Beasley. I love Cole Beasley, man.
I love Cole Beasley too. No, you're right. From what we've seen, it's Colby Covington right now. I mean, they're gonna sell Masvidal Usman, right? That's gonna be another big pay-per-view because they can make that narrative of, oh, it was the training camp. Mm-hmm. What we're gonna see happen again is Usman is gonna take Jorge Masvidal and he's gonna put him on his back and he's gonna punch his face through the mat.
And Masvidal is gonna work for position for 3 rounds. The first minute and a half of each round is going to start out with them filling each other out, few jabs thrown, few legs kicks thrown, and then they're going to fight for position against the cage. That's exactly how it's going to run.
Yep, I completely agree. I'm not interested in seeing that fight.
A whole monkey wrench that got thrown in this thing was the Cheminov that's out against Edwards. I think they really wanted Cheminov to fight Edwards, beat Edwards, and then immediately fight Colby or maybe Burns. Cheminov versus Burns. That'd have been a good fight. Winner of that faces Usman. And I think they really wanted Cheminov to compete with Usman because, he's got the streak. He was the freak of nature in 2020. And they got to put him on this card with a guy that I believe he could handle. Because he's not, like I said, I respect Edwards, but I just don't think he's compared to the other number 2 ranked fighters in their division, number 3 ranked fighters in the division. Edwards just ain't that guy that the others are to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the UFC, I think you're right. The UFC went right. They've got to do right by Edwards because he's earned his position. Right. But they also hitched their wagon to Khamzat, right? Because they want him. They want him to be that next Khabib. They want him to have that audience over in Russia. They want to have that Chechen audience. And he's exciting. He's explosive. And they can hitch their wagon to him and they go, right, let's take it to the top right now. And Checks all the boxes.
Broken English, hell of a grappler, got a mean overhand right, and says the right things at the right time, and will fight whenever you ask him to fight.
Right, and that's huge. People underestimate how huge that is to the UFC. If Dana White calls you and says, "We want you to fight," and you fight, they will always take care of you. And if you say, "No, I want to hold," no, he was just like, "I want to fight. I'll fight anyone right now. Let's do it." He had the fastest turnaround ever, 10-day turnaround for a fight, just remarkable. And I think big things are going to happen in 2021. Hopefully, he gets his recovery from COVID sorted out, and we can see him fight. Because my goodness, he's going to be a problem in this division. I agree about Edwards, and I agree that Colby Covington right now is the only one we've seen be able to at least give Usman a proper fight, because his wrestling is so good that he can neutralize what Usman wants to do. So we're forced into a stand-up battle. And they're very different stand-up fighters, right? Colby doesn't have that same power that Usman has. He puts his combinations together. He's a volume puncher, right? In the way that the Diaz brothers are, right? They accumulate the strikes and the damage. Usman's different, and that's a fight I would like to see again. I would rather see Covington against Usman 2 than Masvidal versus Usman 2. But we also know that Jorge Masvidal is a needle mover when it comes to pay-per-views right now. And I understand why the UFC want to capture that lightning in a bottle and continue to push that Masvidal gravy train while they've still got it. Now, someone else who's emerged into the welterweight picture is Michael Chiesa, right? Michael Chiesa is becoming a problem at welterweight.
I actually watched Michael Chiesa submit Kevin Lee in Oklahoma City at a fight night, and made me really start paying attention to Chiesa. And in that fight night, Kevin Lee, Motown phenom, he's outspoken, and Chiesa's just this well-mannered. I mean, he's telling the ring guy, the ring lady, he's saying, "Excuse me, ma'am," and we're talking about the ring card. I mean, he's just so polite. And then you got Kevin Lee walking around just being crazy. And man, the way he game planned to beat him made me remember the name Chiesa. And you're right, he's right back in the picture of this. And worst comes to worst, none of this works out. Dana White ain't going to be afraid to put Chiesa right up there with Usman and make a title fight. He won't be scared to make him jump all them guys, because Chiesa, he's a commentator. He helps out the UFC. He's a coach and a trainer at the Performance Institute. He's in with the UFC. So they ain't going to be no problems. Chiesa, he can jump up, with right wing.
Man, was it the fight against Kevin Lee? Was that the one? That was a controversial finish, right? Where Lee ended up getting the win, but
yeah. That's it. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So Chiesa, it was. So I remember something weird going on, right? It was he there was no stoppage, there was no tap, there was no unconscious, and he gave the win to Kevin Lee. That was Yamasaki. He screwed up that fight. But Chiesa, since then he went to the welterweight division. He lost to Anthony Pettis there, but he's come back. He's gotten Condit, Diego Sanchez, whatever. But Rafael dos Anjos, Neil Magny, some good wins under his belt.
That's the guy I've been trying to think of this whole damn show. This whole segment. Neil Magny, that's it.
Neil Magny.
Been around and around and around, and like he's fought Jens Pulver, he's fought BJ Penn. Neil Magny's fought everybody, man. I love
everybody.
Man.
He's fought everybody. But what about Stephen Thompson here at 5? I mean, is that a fight you make, Stephen Thompson against Chiesa? Now Chiesa's up at 6 in the UFC rankings, maybe?
Yeah. Man, I guess that's what you make. Where's Woodley at? Is he fighting? Is he work for TMZ? Why do I still see him on here?
I don't know. I don't want to see Tyron Woodley fight again. Like, I won't pay money to watch Tyron Woodley fight again.
I want to hear you talk about drama on TMZ more than I want to see you roll around and gripe because somebody else rolled around with you. That's what he griped about the last fight. That the guy wouldn't let him off the mat. Bro, that's what you've been doing your whole career. What you talking about? I'm not a fan of Tyrone Woodley, man. A guy, it just keeps jumping off at me here. Vincent Luke.
Vincent Luque. Oh, Vincente Luque.
He's been getting a big push, and I've noticed his name on a couple of cards. 12-3 in the UFC. Nothing bad about that at all. Good looking kid, Brazilian. I'm looking at his previous fights right here. He's got a loss to Leon Edwards on December the 3rd. But that was a split decision. So, and he's got a win over the guy that's replacing Zamet or Cosmet or what.
He knocked out Belal Muhammad. Vincente Luque, he's a gamer, man.
In a minute and 19. He knocked him out in the first round with a minute 19. He beat Hector Urbana, which is a contender guy, Alvaro Herrera, Hayden Hassan, and Michael Graves. He's got some good wins in the UFC. That Leon Edwards loss but that's a split decision. I think might be a
and then look how he responded, right? He went Nico Price, Chad Lepre, Jalen Turner, Brian Barberina, TKO. These are all knockout punches, by the way, that submitted Nico Price. Mike Perry beats Platinum Mike Perry. Now he loses to Stephen Thompson, different level of striker, beats Nico Price again in the rematch, and then beats Randy Brown as well by TKO. Like this guy, by KO, excuse me. This guy is a gamer, and I'm trying to see. I believe he does have a fight scheduled. Potentially, I think he's got something set up. Let me pull up Sherdog here, but I'm sure he's got an upcoming fight. Yeah. Oh, that's of course. I'm an idiot. He's fighting the guy we just talked about. I never want to see again, Tyron Woodley.
Oh, they fight? Is he fighting Woodley?
That's the fight that's being made.
When?
That's happening on the 27th of March in the UFC Apex, UFC 260.
260. Okay.
260. Now, if Woodley loses this fight, he's done. That's 4 losses in a row, all top-level competition. But if he lets Vincente Luque come in and continue this rise towards the top, okay, Woodley, it's over. You're not even a gatekeeper anymore. Time to hang him up. The only way Woodley gets his name back in relevancy is he comes out and he absolutely murks him. We don't want to see three rounds of lay and pray. We've got to see Woodley come out and put a great win together.
At the latest, an early second round TKO. I mean,
right.
That's latest. Like, he better have him on the ropes at the end of one, and they sound that whistle, and then whenever they put him back to fight, he better have him on the ropes again, or he hurt.
Agreed. He'll again. Considerations for the UFC is how much money he earns per fight, and he earns a lot. So now that was 258. That was the middle, so the welterweight picture. Let's look ahead now, my friend. UFC 259. Now we're going to do another podcast before that, right? We'll talk about that a little bit more detail. But I just want to get people's juices flowing. I want to get people excited, right? Let's run through this card. Let's run through this.
I got you.
Woo.
There
Right.
it is. Can you see it on the screen?
I see it. We have got on the prelim cards for free.
Yeah.
Dominic Cruz fighting on the prelims. Now,
Joseph
Benavidez as well. Absolutely. So these prelims, you put these prelims together, that's a fight night by itself.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
It's a fight night that is the undercard to what is going to be an absolutely stacked main event, kicking things off. Thiago Santos against Alexander Rakic. And Rakic.
Drew Dober. That's my guy, man. I love me some Drew Dober, man. That's one of my favorite fighters, dude. He ain't fought in a hot minute, has he, Drew Dober?
I don't recall the last time Drew Dober fought, but I do like him, the Doberman. He's got some power in those hands.
Yeah.
But Thiago Santos, obviously he's coming off. He had that split decision loss to John Jones for the title, and then he loses to Glover Teixeira with great submission. But we've got a knockout win over the current champion, Jan Blachowicz, right? So this guy is no joke. Be curious to see.
I'd say he's kind of fighting a no-name guy. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I know my way around the MMA circuit, and Alexander is a great fighter and all, but I don't really see this matchup.
No, I think this is a fight for Thiago to win because he's on the same card as the champion, right? Jan Blachowicz. He wins that fight, and he says there's a call out right there. I already beat the champion. Whoever wins, I want to fight them because they want. It's good for the UFC to have an outspoken Brazilian champion. They bring a huge audience, right? So if he wins this fight, he puts away Rakic, who's, he had a good performance, don't get me wrong, against Anthony Smith, but that fight, Smith looked terrible. Yeah. Smith did not come to fight on that day. So he puts away Alexander Rakic, and Thiago Santos calls out the winner. He says, I want a title shot. I've beaten the champion a few months ago or a year ago, whenever it was. I knocked out the champion. Give me my title shot. And I think that's what the UFC is doing here. They're positioning themselves to be able to do that. And then Aljo Sterling fighting for the belt. We got 3 belts on the line here. Peter Yan against Aljo Sterling. That's going to be one heck of a fight. And then the Lioness, Amanda Nunes against Megan Anderson. I only see this fight going one way here, Dougie, is Amanda Nunes against Megan Anderson. I think Nunes continues her domination of the women's featherweight division. And then, of course, the main event that has got everybody talking. We've got Israel Adesanya trying to double up, go champ, as Conor McGregor did before him, as DC did before him, and go and fight against Jan Blachowicz in the light heavyweight division. What a card, 3 belts. But we're going to have to break that down, in the future. But just what an insane fight. By the way, I'm not seeing here on I'm not seeing on the at least on Wikipedia. Maybe it needs to be updated. A lightweight bout between Islam Makhachev and Drew Dober is expected to take place. Has that been confirmed now? Because it's not updated on Wikipedia.
No. Oh, I have. Yes. I think that's just Lou and Doug's speculation.
Yeah, I don't think it's. We'll see, because that's going to be a good fight if it does happen. But I'm excited about that card. Now, let's get some picks in real quick for the main event of Curtis Blaydes against Derek Lewis, because that card is going on right now as we speak.
Yes.
Derek Lewis. We know there's one path to victory in this fight for Derek Lewis. It only takes one, but he only has that one path to victory, and that's landing a heavy shot on Curtis Blaydes and putting him away. But Curtis Blaydes is no joke, Dougie. How do you see this fight going?
10 knockouts. A lot of people don't realize that his thing wrestling. He's got 10 knockouts. I know is the record holder for most knockouts in the heavyweight division now. But what people, whenever we think of Derek Lewis, we just think of the power and the knockout power. Whenever we think of Blaydes, we think about the wrestling. But then you add the 10 knockouts and you're like, oh, he's well balanced. Derek Lewis don't have the 5 submissions to go along with the record-breaking knockouts. What I noticed in the fights with Cormier, with Latifi, with Ozdemir, they're nowhere near Cormier. Of course he is, but they're nowhere near the rest of Blaydes is. And Derek Brown, Derek, he's got to where he thinks blowing up and standing up and getting up out of like maybe like a reverse guard. Somebody's got him around the neck trying to take him to the ground, and he kind of just explodes and stands back up on his feet and goes to throw. And again, he thinks that's grappling. that he thinks that that's him moving forward in the world
Right.
of grappling. No, not when you fight Curtis Blaydes. That is not going to work.
It's not going
Panicking
to cut it.
in your strength to just try to explode out of a move with Curtis Blaydes is going to get your arm broke. That's what's going to happen. It's going to get your arm broke. It's going to get you put to sleep. One or the other. My personal opinion, I think round 3, middle of round 3, TKO.
All right, I like it. I'm picking Curtis Blaydes here as well. I can't go with my namesake, Derek Lewis here. I just think Curtis Blaydes has too many paths to victory, and what he can do is eliminate the only path to victory that Derek Lewis has. Stick him on his back. Game over. But this card does have some other interesting fights on. I like Alexei Oleinik against Chris Daukaus, 2 heavyweights who are just going to come in and, obviously Oleinik is an absolute grappling monster, but he has something here. Like
he's an underdog, by the way, plus 140 underdog. He's in my parlay.
I was going to say I might go lay some on that, and the other one that I like right here, Charles Rosa, right? Charles Rosa.
I took Minner.
You took Minner.
Yeah, because he's the plus 150 dog, and I needed something to round out that parlay with. I took Imanov with a plus 100 against Halls. And then I had Oleinik plus 140. And then I need something to put the bow on it. And I wasn't about to trust Arlovsky or Lewis with my parlay. So I kind of went with Minner there by default. So, yeah, I went Minner.
Interesting. So I gotta tell you, you were glad to not trust Arlovsky because he was submitted with a rear naked choke in the second round.
Hey, Aspinall's for real. That dude's for real. That dude is the real deal in the heavyweight division, and I can't wait until he fights my guy coming up on the next fight night, Mr. Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane. Aspinall is going to be a freaking war. I can't wait for that fight.
But Cyril Gane has got another fight already booked.
Yeah, I know, but he's gonna win.
He's gonna go. You think he's gonna beat Rosenstrike?
I'm telling you, this guy is special.
He's for real. All right.
He is style bender of the heavyweight division, baby.
Woo! All right, I like it. I like that call. And then, I think I'm gonna go. And I'm going to go bet Charles Rosa. This is going to be a grappling exchange. And you know your way around the mats, Dougie. Charles Rosa is a high-level black belt, and this is going to be a grappling match with Minner. Remember when Bryce Mitchell fought Charles Rosa, though? Bryce Mitchell just absolutely humiliated and dominated Charles Rosa on the ground, which no one was expecting, or at least I wasn't expecting. And the commentators were surprised because Charles Rosa is a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. But Bryce Mitchell absolutely embarrassed him on the ground. But I think this fight
from the side guard controlled Rosa really from a lot from the side guard. And what I mean by that is when people would fight Rosa, whenever he did get on his back, they'd automatically try to move to the next position. Well, what he did was just stayed in the side guard and worked his advantages from the side guard. He pushed him a lot towards the cage, and that right there got Rosa, somebody's kind of taking working. And hey, if you crush a fighter's spirits, just like I said with Burns, just like if you crush, don't matter if it's on the mat grappling, don't matter if it's with one straight left jab, just for him to go, oh God, oh, he hit me in the nose. Just to crush a fighter's spirits, fighting is a lot more mental than people realize. These people are athletic specimens, and I don't take nothing away from them, but there's a lot more mental in this fighting game than people realize. And crushing a fighter's spirits is the quickest way for an upset.
I agree. So I think this is going to be an interesting fight. And as I said, Oleinik, the underdog here, he has multiple paths to victory. I mean, an absolute grappling sensation. What's his nickname? Is the boa constrictor? He's the boa constrictor for a reason, right? Let's have a look at his recent, some top level wins, right? He got knocked out by Derek Lewis. Fine, there's no shame in that. But he had Derek Lewis hurt, if I recall correctly. But he only loses to the top guys. He is the true gatekeeper in this heavyweight division right now, and it's going to see whether Daukaus is ready to take that next step in this division. But I think Oleinik could get it done here and win by submission. We lost Dougie. We lost Dougie for a second.
The Caucus.
He's there. He can hear me. He can hear me. But Dougie, man,
the Caucus. He's real light on his feet. He's real agile for a heavyweight. But with Olenek, I believe Olenek pushes him up against the cage and a little bit of dirty boxing leading to the clinch, which wears him down the first round. And then I can see Olenek kind of putting him on the mat in the second round, third round, taking care of business.
I can see that. I can see that as well. So it's an exciting card, and you know what? I think we wrap things up here, Dougie. We talked a little bit about 258. We're gonna get into 259 in the future, in the next episode. Everyone enjoy Blaydes versus Lewis. I think we have another fight night before we get on to the next big pay-per-view. Let me check my calendar here. We've got it's your boy. It's your boy, Cyril Gain. So he's headlining the next fight. That's going to be a great fight night. Fight night 186.
Fight companion. Maybe we'll jump on together and maybe watch that bad boy live, because I'm a huge Gain fan, man. I'm a huge Gain fan, and you know, in this world of MMA, anything can happen. So whenever you're that big of a fan of somebody, and they could get their lights shut out at any minute, you know. The edge of your seat, the edge of your seat, man.
I think you're right. I think we should do something around that. But this has been great, Dougie. Episode 2 in the books. We started out with some wrestling. Shout out to our sponsor, our great sponsor, Statement Games, statementgames.com. Thank you, Mr. Mark. Absolutely. Statement Games, www.statementgames.com. Make sure we are now on iTunes. So if you have enjoyed Takedown Sports HQ, head on over to iTunes, hit that subscribe button, and please go give us a rating of 5 stars. Help new fans find the newest podcast in the MMA world, Takedown Sports HQ, right there on iTunes. Subscribe and rate 5 stars. Dougie, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always, talking some MMA with you. Can't wait to do it again. But for now, you go and enjoy Blaydes versus Lewis. I'm going to go sit on the couch and watch that, eat some breakfast, maybe some lunch. It's getting near lunchtime over here now. But I'm going to get on out of here. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. And we'll talk soon, brother.
Yep. Thank you to Mike Wallet and Mr. Mark, CEO of Statement Games, for jumping on with us in that wrestling segment. And Luke, as always, baby, tell him.
Horns down.
What's that, baby? All right. We'll see you next time on Takedown Sports HQ. I'm Doug. That's Luke. See you next time. Bye. Okay, where's that outro? Got to find the outro. There we go.